Good evening everyone, and welcome to Raina Mo's Designs. And today I'm focusing on moving from summer into fall, and I'm showing you the large garden. I'm showing you how a garden can get away from you. When you have big hopes and dreams and aspirations and you go all in before you're ready to go all in. So this is our back garden, and you can see it's been overtaken by vines. I think that these are 4 o'clock vines, but I'm not sure. It's just some wild vine that popped in. We had it last year and the winter killed it. Well, this year it took over again, and we're de-weeding the garden before the winter comes so that we can use these beds. So I just want to show you that patch right there is zinnias that the vines are covering over, and they've completely covered all of those zinnias. They're so tall. I'm just showing and pointing to you that those are 2 separate beds. Those beds are 4 by 8 foot. So this is the bed that I'm going to focus on working on. That particular day it started to rain, so I didn't actually get to work in the garden that day, but you'll see me when I actually start working in the garden. That's a kale that's been left over since last summer, and it never went to seed. So I'm hoping that it does go to seed, because those are going to be good for my particular garden in my area. All of these, what I'm showing you, are mustard green seeds that have volunteered. They flew over obviously from the original mustard green bed, which I'll show y'all later, either in this video or in another video, because it's definitely going to be a series of us taking back our garden. And there I was showing you that it's 4 of those green beds. It's 2 on this side and the original 2 that you saw. There's also 2 beds back here, which you can barely see. Now you can see that I added, and all of those are 4 by 8s. All of these green beds are 4 foot by 8 foot. That silver bed that you see back there, that one is actually 4 foot by 12. And my dad, that's his bed that we put together. And we didn't even get started with filling that bed yet. And you see the vines have taken over the entire garden, where you can't even see our walkways. But soon you will get to see those walkways, because me and Daddy spent some good time in the garden on Sunday, September the 14th, and he cleared us a walkway and I cleared a bed. So just continue to watch the video, follow our journey, and I hope that we become an inspiration for anybody with a disability, with a disease progression like diabetes or hypertension, to go ahead and start your garden. Just be mindful when you start that garden. Don't go all in if you don't have the energy to go all in. I know that it gets to be exciting, and you may be financially able, like I was, to buy all of this stuff and get started. But if you don't stay on top of it, this could be the outcome. Instead of a beautiful garden, you have one that the vegetation, the weeds, and the vines can take over. And I just want to be realistic in showing you what a garden could look like. And now you'll see what a garden should look like.
Hey y'all, I'm just gonna cut in here. I just finished doing half of one bed. I'm just about done. I'm gonna flip it so y'all can see. I'm doing a video. I'm working out here with Daddy. We're cleaning out the beds and such. And I tell you, he one tough man. I have had to take multiple breaks, but Daddy haven't taken not one break. But I'm gonna flip the camera around so you guys can see what I've done so far, and then we'll talk. So this bed was completely with weeds. I've amended the bed, and there was some mustard greens that volunteered. I believe it could be broccoli that have volunteered, but I believe these are mustard greens, because if you look, they're all over this garden. They started over there in that patch, which is now covered by a vine, but we get into it. And there's Daddy over there. This whole entire area was covered. So he's managed to walkway, and he's working in another area with his bed. But this is what I've done that I've completed. And I put up a trellis because I plan on putting cucumbers there. And then this is the part that I'm working in now. And I just got this corner that seems to keep multiplying because there's a walkway there that has been taken over by weeds. And this is what happens when you don't stay on top of your weeding. So I plan on starting a series called Weeding Wednesday, which during the fall we'll stay on top of these beds better. So even though I just have that little patch left to complete this bed, if you can see me, I am getting a little bit of a headache. So I'm gonna sit myself on down underneath this shade and drink me some water. And if I don't get to feeling better with the water, then I'll pop inside and take a shot of pickle juice to get my electrolytes back, because we've been at this since probably 9:30 this morning, and dare I say it's 1 o'clock now. But anyway, let me take this off. Never mind my hair. Now you can see the full picture of what I look like when I work out in my garden. It's not pretty, but it is necessary. Guys, it is so necessary. So necessary. There's so much going on, and I think when I get back over to my place and I touch bases in the front yard garden, then we'll talk some more. But right now I'm just gonna kind of be quiet and enjoy the cool breeze that Jehovah has blessed me with and cool myself down. And then if I need to, I'll go and get some pickle juice. But we'll keep talking because I'm gonna show y'all our progress. Okay, so this is the next day. Y'all can still see we got plenty of work that we still have to do, but I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you what I got to finish yesterday and walk you through the area that Daddy was working in. So this is an entire bed that I worked on yesterday and uncovered. So you can see the mustard greens that volunteered from the seeds that blew over from that is the greens beds over there. But you can see that seeds came here and grew, and they've flowered and they've trickled onto this bed. And then this was the second bed that I was working in. That is a celery root, which I'm guessing is dead now, so I'll probably end up pulling that little thing out. But this is the next bed that I will be working on, that y'all will see me work in. And as you can see, there's Swiss chard left over from last year that's still growing up underneath all of those vines. Okay, now I'm going to walk over to where Daddy was working so y'all can see what he's done. So over here, those two beds are the greens bed, and you can see this vine. I'm not sure what this vine is called, but it took over the entire garden. So over here you couldn't even walk through. My angel trumpet here, you see she's bowed. She was standing up straight and tall, but because of all the vines growing over her, they've managed to pull her down. But Daddy freed her. We call her Grandma because she was given to me by my children's grandmother. So anyway, there's Grandma. I'm gonna water her in a little bit. But Daddy cleared all of this out. See, that's some of the stuff that he cleared. He cleared this entire walkway, while all I was able to do was one garden bed because it was so hot for me. He cleared all of this out, and he started on this side. And yes, there's a wheelchair in there because he sits in his wheelchair and he gardens. So anybody can do a garden if they choose to. So he's cleaned out half of that bed, and he will work on it again. and he's cleaned a little bit. He got rid of some vines from over here because all of this you see is laying down. It was standing tall, and because of the vines it was pulled down. And then Daddy worked here. So basically he is working the perimeter of the garden, and slowly but surely we're going to get all of this cleaned back out so we can see the beds where they belong. The camera keeps jumping because I'm hitting mosquitoes. But anyway, this is our big garden that was neglected and left, and we're getting it back. We are taking it back. So I just wanted to let you guys know, gardening can be easy and gardening can be hard. It really depends on you. Let me flip this camera around. So like I was saying, gardening can be easy or it can be hard. It really just depends on you. My best advice to anybody that wants to start a garden is to do it, but start small. Even if that means just starting in a pot or two. Start small. Then when you start adding garden beds, add one bed at a time. Master that bed. Then add another. Because if you can do that, everything else, like the Bible says, will be added to you. Your garden will become as large as you need it for the goal that you have for it, right? But if you do it a little bit at a time, baby steps, you won't get overwhelmed. I got excited because Daddy had this garden ever since I was young. We moved into this house when I was 16, and Daddy started his garden. It was an in-ground garden, which was much smaller than the in-ground garden at the house that I was born in. That garden was large, but he was Daddy, and then he had children that helped him in the garden. We helped with the weeding of the garden. Daddy never let it get out of control. But as time goes on and different disease processes and you age, things get a little bit tough. So he let his garden go. So here I am. I started gardening again, and I had the means financially to buy all these garden beds to try and make it easier for Daddy so he didn't have to worry about gardening in the ground. And so I put all of these beds together, right? Which increased the size of his regular garden that he had. Daddy had 2 truck beds, you know, those truck bed liners. Well, he had 2 of them full of dirt. That's what he was gardening in. And then here I come putting in raised bed gardens over here. And he was fine with it because I was out here with him, right? But it was too much. Way more than what I was used to over at Paul's. So just to tell you guys, garden because you need to, with the way the things are going in this system, in the administration that we have. Garden because you want to, because you want to be able to provide for yourself. You want to be able to provide for your family. Garden because it helps you spiritually, because it helps you appreciate what it is that God gave us and what He intended for us, right? Garden because it gives you peace, because for me, it definitely gives me peace. But don't overdo it. You can be so geeked up and enthusiastic about it, and then before you know it, you've overwhelmed yourself. Because if you don't do it slow and you go big, like they say, go big or go home. You better go home and start small. Because when you go big, if you have disease processes, if you are older, if you have handicaps, it can get away from you and will get away from you at some point. But for me, that's what happened back here. Me and my dad, we can handle this big garden when we do it small. So Dad, he has his 2 garden beds that he enjoys. We just added a 3rd for him, and all of the rest of them technically are mine. But I have decided that I am going to do Weeding Wednesday, which means every Wednesday I'm looking for things that I did not plant, and I am pulling them. I don't care if it's a volunteer of mustard green or some other vegetable that I had here in the garden. If I did not plant the seed, I'm pulling it out, and I have to view it as a weed. And the reason for that is this vine, I don't know where it came from, but I know
that since it's prolific, it's dropped its seeds, even though I don't see the seeds. I see the flowers. So that means we're going to always be battling this weed if I don't. So, and this is a vine. So that's what my plan is. And I know it says anytime you plan something, something's going to happen and take away your plan. But I'm telling you, every Wednesday, I'm going to come out and walk the garden. And what I have already cleared out, if I did not plant it, I am pulling it. The only volunteers that I'm going to have are the ones that are in that bed right now. And when I clear out this other bed, the Swiss chard, obviously it will stay. The zinnias that are up underneath that vine, if any of them have survived, which I do see some flowers, those will stay. But no volunteers. I'm not keeping any volunteers because it's not worth it, because it can get away from you quickly. Okay? And now that it's the fall, it'll be easier for me to come out into the backyard. We just have to figure out what we're going to do about these mosquitoes. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy this journey. This is part 1. You'll continue watching, I hope and I pray, as we get this garden together. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.